I give you the professional about Audacity. Anyway, I started with this pieces from 1999, right, 17 years ago. What?
You wrote this music?
Huh?
You wrote this music?
You have the calculations and the score.
Okay.
It's written.
Amazing.
It's written.
Unbelievable.
Why I tell you? Because there are the possibilities is the moment if you create something because I know what I want to obtain. I know what data, what the shape, the final shape to obtain what. Obviously, I'm applying this in therapy in quite 20 years. I mean, it's like a pool of billiard. You go from this to this to this to this. But it's written. I know what I want to obtain. I mean, I'm playing. Oh, this is nice. This should be now. Turning to his repertoire. From music point of view, what you discovered, what you've done with it. In music, there are two systems related to the organization of sounds. Temperate and non-temperate. Non-temperate is the most diffused all over the world. And temperate is written down. And it's related to the development and dissemination of instruments, musical instruments. You have to have an equal temperate distance between sounds in order to build an instrument, whatever instrument. And that's toward the end of the 17th century. I mean, when Bartolomeo Cristofori, Italian, built the piano e forte. Piano. And nobody took in consideration. So he makes one of the first and most exemplary marketing. He hired a young and talented composer called Johann Sebastian Bach. I said, this is Bach wrote immortal 48 well-tempered clavier. 40. In each tonality. Putting in practice also the theory of temperate music and the tonal system. It's a subcategory of temperate music. But all the other musics are non-temperate. That's one. Keep in mind. Second, the pure sound, the frequencies, doesn't exist in music. Could be only generated electronically. Sound generated, now we have. Because in nature, a sound is not one sound, it's what we call a cluster. More frequencies. The voice, human voice, what I done? By vibrating the air column, you produce more harmonics. Now,
we were doing this with Ashima the other day with the FFT.
Why the low voices are more preferred? Because lower the sound, more harmonics it creates.
Why I like my viola more than my violin. Yeah.
Now, each sound, again the triplet of triplets, each sound is a generator, is generated and generates. Because, for example, a central C is the eighth harmonic of C, the fourth harmonic of F, the fifth harmonic of G, and so on and so on. And when you play one with a piano, you can immediately understand, but when you play this, you don't play a sinus wave sound.
Right.
You play at least 3, 4 others. Obviously, lower the sound, more harmonics. Higher the sound, less harmonics, but there are always others. We don't have. That's why when you read or listen about working with frequencies, nature doesn't work with frequencies. Why his discovery is important for me? Because it explains more things. First of all, why non-temperance is the nature of the human.
In harmonic.
No. Harmonics are always.
Yeah.
But it's non-temperate. I mean, the distance between sound is not fixed.
Right.
That's why
It's fractal. Yeah.
To obtain this with a computer, I have to calculate, and for each sound you've seen there are at least 3. I mean, that's one. That's why the non-temperate, because it is human. It's our brain doing this. Secondly, why in the nature, there are not such a thing like regular rhythmic system.
Yes.
It's all what in music we call a regular system. 5 plus 1 plus 1. Ta 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 tira ta 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 tira ta 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 ta. So on. Tira pa ta.
And this I am trying to tell many people, but people are so obsessed with the harmonics.
Yeah.
Harmonics is
What is harmonic?
I mean,
What is harmonic?
I mean, if you take the harmonics, from the fundamental frequency, the multiples, it doesn't give you any new information.
Absolutely.
It's just one information. So, but people are, especially in the West, they all
Absolutely. That's why I want to tell you.
When
the Western world,
Yeah.
and not
You-
in all the world, because
No,
I'm
even
coming from Balkans.
even in the Western world, if you go to the tribals,
Yeah.
they always go for the enharmonics. They,
And when he's talking about tempered and intempered, the piano, if you tune the fourths and the fifths so that there's perfectly no beats, some keys sound good, but other keys sound horrible. By the equal tempering, I have a piano tuner who learned to tune piano in the 1950s. He doesn't use an electronic device. He
Me
counts.
neither.
He
Me
counts
neither.
the beats.
Absolute-
He's
absolute.
learned to count the beats. So the fourths and the fifths, he tunes the first octave, and then he goes up the circle of fifths, up and down the scale.
Absolutely.
And I've actually measured on my piano, and it has this wonderful. It is inharmonic in that the lower strings behave more like a bar, and the upper strings behave more like a
Absolutely,
string. But
like string.
when he gets done, I can plot it on my computer, and it's just like perfect.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. And that's the reality. And take on that, you heard about the polemic between A432, A440.
Yeah,
It's a bullshit.
yeah, it's silly.
Let me tell you why. Because I'm a musician. Not all. Because don't consider the reality. The reality is double. We have instrumental music and vocal music. The voice, yes, the voice is lower. 432 is perfect for the voice. 440 is perfect for the instruments. Even in the United States, they make it 445 or why? Because it's more brilliant, more brilliant, and gives you from point of view of sound engineering, more brilliant, more you can fix it immediately.
Yeah.
If it's low,
So there was a research in Harvard University, and also I think Stanford. I read both the papers, are nearly similar. So they did research on why do you find some music as beautiful, some music as so melodious. So there are only 5 rules that they follow, and these 5 rules or 6 rules I checked with the 5 rules that they have found by analyzing last 300-400 years of music that has been created, mostly in the Europe, and Bach's music and other people's music. Of course, those are the key factor for research. And then they found that suppose you have a circle, all the notes, fundamental notes, and you make a triangle with 3. You will rotate this triangle, but do not change the ratio of the lengths. So many things which we would say is not information.
may I say something?
Yeah.
First of all, that's a problem with ignorance of reality, of non-temperate and temperate. Temperate music, it's written, I mean the tonal system, it's written based on calculus, the circle of fifths.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you have a system that is created according to strict rules, you can it's exactly like the measurement of Cheops upon pyramid.
Yes,
You
yes.
can find whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's not natural.
That's what we were arguing today. I was telling, no, if your information is bits and qubits, then whatever you may try, you are going to end up in software programming based intelligence where there is nothing to do with nature or nature's information processing. So we need to find out how nature does it.
Absolutely.
I agree
And what you showed is exactly this. And it is very important for the music also. Now, let me try to explain this thing. Why we like this, you don't like this. Bullshit. You like it, I don't. What likes me, exactly right, music is relaxing. Depends, first of all, what you mean with stress.
Bach's, I think, Fifth Symphony, no? Which one is the most
Beethoven's
sweetest
Fifth.
one? Beethoven's Fifth. Huh? But that one everybody likes, right? Beethoven's
I've
Fifth.
thought, look, I'm an...
Have you found any person in the world?
I'm a USA board certified music therapist. I was for 10 years and then I'm turned back and don't need. But anyway.
Don't you think that there are some music which appeals to everybody?
Let me
Okay.
tell you this.
Okay.
And anyway, we have many conferences discussing this. You have to learn to listen to Mozart. You have to listen to Elvis Presley. I will say we in Europe are more snobbish. We have the classical music, so. But I told them, guys, okay, so you to treat schizophrenia, you recommend this playlist. Okay, first of all, apart the fact that they are working with music that wasn't composed for therapy. My method, I'm composing the music based on the patient data. Suppose you are in China, mid-China, you have to treat a schizophrenic peasant, countryman. What you put him? Put him Mozart. For him, Mozart music is as strange as is for you Chinese music.
Right. Yeah.
But something works. What? I started my research. What? I started this research in 17. Anyway, what works is the musical form. I mean, the final form in which the music is presented. The three spatial structures presenting in time with orchestration, sound processing. That creates in mind the image.
Exactly.
Now,
I agree with you.
Knowing, I take as a basis and hypothesis this frequency is related to. Then enters, I'm a diplomat and physician assistant, I know what I'm talking about. Taking considerations what have to do with what, I'm writing for this. Because the principle of my therapy is that the material used have to bypass the cultural background, the preferences, what you want. It has to be as an aspirin, not an aspirin for white, for green, for other things. That's why I'm composing the music based on data, elaborated forms of the assessment, which is very important to know what to do. But anyway, that's my point. Back to his. So what he discovered not only explains why the non-temperance, explains also why the irregular rhythm, not rhythm in itself. The rhythm is always binary, pam, 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 pam. When we have, he can explain to you in Beethoven's 14th Sonata, no? When you have
Right.
what's happened on the fourth bar here? First you have, in the mind, first you have to count the beat, which is always binary. 1, 2, and this is the frame. In this frame, you put a triplet, which is like divided 10 by 3. You have 3 points. You said 100. Anyway, it goes with 10.
Yeah.
10 by 3. So we have 1, 2, ta, ti, ta, ti, ta, ta, ti. Over this, you have to overlap the binary subdivision of the binary time. Ta, 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 1, pam, pam. Now, what happens? In piano, the sound is obtained mostly in 3 ways. From shoulder, from elbow, from wrist. Not only, when you study the order of fingering. In this case, pam, 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 the C, is done with the fifths. So you have to apply a different pressure from different, usually from elbow in this case, from different, tram, tram, all this in a fraction of time. And in the memory remains the shape, sorry, I'm sorry. The procedure. So when I have to do with this rhythmical division, I have to do this in this way, with these notes, with these fingers. And automatically, when you read the score, you feel it. Another proof of reason he have with microtubules. Don't have it now. Try, put a laryngophone to a professional musician and give him a score to read. I read the score. Because reading the score means to play it in your mind.
Audiation. Yeah.
You can hear it. You can hear it. And it's created by the mind. The mind and the brain. What means? That means that the resonance, like that's one of the proof. You don't need the lab.
One of the things I think is really interesting is also the organ of hearing, right? With the cochlea and the spiral and the cilia and the microtubules. Have you looked at any of that?
Not only, I
Yes,
published a paper in Journal of Quantum Biosystems.
I have 2 questions. Those charts that you showed to us, are those published?
Sure, 1998.
1998. So can I get the PDF files?
Sure. I gave it
In the RAR file, .rar?
I sent it to you yesterday.
.rar. Okay.
Anyway, if you want more, just... No, I sent to you a paper I published on my method and acupuncture.
Okay.
Because they describe more effective.
No, I'm just interested in the frequencies that you have found that those cure diseases, a series of diseases, and what are the frequencies?
I don't consider
you found it. You compiled.
Put it together.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So are these used in any of the hospitals in Italy?
Only my private studio.
Alternative therapy.
No, please don't.
No.
Integrative. Integrative. I prefer to call integrative. You know
I
why?
appreciate that.
Because alternative medicine.
Right.
Medicine is 90% at least a science. Alternative to science is whole bullshit.
I like that. Integrative. Fair enough. That's good.
That's why alternative medicine. It's a very. unhappy definition.
I just bought a 1947 book off of eBay called Music and Medicine. It's a classic, I think.
It was.
After World War II, I think is when music therapy really took off, right?
You know, yes, but you know that music therapy is a word in itself.
Yeah.
And,
There's a war, a what? A war.
world.
A war.
A war.
A world.
A world. In a permanent war.
Yeah, yeah.
In a permanent war. But,
A world of war.
World of war. But no, I prefer to call what I'm doing because that's what I'm doing. It's applied neuroscience.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
Because you know, in today's world, there's a lot of words.
Yeah, yeah. True. So you'll like this. I just retired from the Air Force a couple of years ago, and I've moved into a new neuroscience engineering laboratory at Wright State. But I also last summer said,
Did you hear it?
I want to do more music. So
you should
I
do it.
auditioned
Can
to be
you-
a Suzuki violin instructor
play it
from the
again?
neuroscience building. So I shot my video, my
like
audition
this.
video in the neuroscience building.
I'm a psychiatrist, and
Hi, colleague.
huh?
Hi, colleague. Me too.
Oh, wonderful.
But he is a professional musician also.
Got it. And at least here in the U.S., I can't speak for Italy. That biological model is just so fixed, and hence all the 20% of Americans are on some kind of psychiatric medication. 20-25%. It's a very, very it's because everything has to have evidence. Evidence-based.
Which, if you want to talk evidence from a meta-analysis perspective,
I know.
most of those drugs do.
Right. I mean, it's complicated, the data.
Yeah.
But and I could say in individual practice actually does help some people.
Yeah.
If you have time, I have a poster
Yeah?
this evening
Okay.
on a bipolar disorder 1.
Cool.
Tonight. Tonight we are coming. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would definitely like to see that.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
the-
what.
the-
So what kind of therapy do you do for
You gotta
bipolar?
hear this.
My therapy.
Do you do like psychopharmacology too? You stop doing it?
No, what I'm doing, it's my method,
Oh,
which consists in composing
Music.
the music.
okay.
Composing the music.
The patient composes the music
No,
Yes.
he does.
I compose the music.
for
For the patient.
For the patient.
after interviewing him. Is it like a
If you are interested, I have all the
Great.
system force.
Wonderful.
I mean, I'm working with
wonderful?
very, because living and working in New Jersey, to have insurance, you have to be very precise.
You're in New Jersey?
I live for 5 to 10 years.
Where are you at now?
Not in Italy.
Oh, you're in Italy, in Turin, that's right. So where in New Jersey did you live?
In Edgewater.
Yeah.
Edgewater. It's,
Yeah,
it's
I know.
between Fort Lee and
Yeah, I know exactly where it's
You
at.
know.
Yeah, I lived in Summit, New
Summit.
Jersey.
Oh.
Yeah, west of
Yeah, yeah.
Newark.
We live near
In
Piccadilly.
the northern New Jersey, in Paramus first, in Paramus,
Yeah,
then,
of course.
then I have my studio on Fairfield,
In Fairfield.
Route
Yeah, of course.
46.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. How long have you been in Turin?
In Turin,
Yeah, and
well, in Turin I was from 1985 to 89, then I came back. I mean, I'm a former political refugee from Romania.
I understand.
And that,
You're from Romania. You're from Romania.
yeah,
I have a good friend from Romania at the University of Cincinnati, Anka and Dan Relescu. She does a lot of brain-computer interface, so I think she would be very interested in this work.
oh, yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah, this is.
And in fact, the work I did with her on brain-computer interface, she has a lot of mathematical background in fuzzy artificial intelligence. Yeah. And her husband Dan, who's also a computer scientist, is a cellist. Yeah.
My favorite street, actually.
Yeah. First of all, I like the music and I like that those tables, 2 tables. Those tables are frequencies. Those are good.
Yeah.
And try it with in combination with the music. I mean, in my therapy, is the music creates the visual.
So if we send you the file that we recorded from the microtubules and sonified, can you convert it into a music on
Now
your
if
own?
you want.
Sure.
Now if you want.
Yes.
Just give me a piece of paper and the pencil.
What is the
No, no, no. I want to hear the sound.
No,
of
no,
course.
he can do it now.
Right now?
I can write it down. Give me a piece of paper.
I don't know anything about music. I can give you the sound file only.
that'll work? I'm sure.
Huh?
I'm sure that'll work.
Yeah, this is for insomnia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to you right now. Do you have thumb drive?
Oh, but send it by
Email.
By mail.
Yeah. And I'd like to talk to you about the bipolar too.
Sure, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you tell me about the bipolar thing in the 30-second version, just because you catch my curiosity?
30-second version. First of all,
I'm sorry, I'm a millennial.
no.
He wants the TLDR.
What's that?
Oh, you're not a Reddit person. Too long didn't read.
Yeah, okay.
Have you ever run
Too long to read.
TL semicolon DR? Too long didn't read.
Yes. Anyway, first of all, what I'm doing is complementary medicine, as I said. That means I'm working on side effects. And I'm working just as exclusively together with psychiatrists.
Yep.
Or with, I'm specializing in mood personality and sleep disorders. So I'm working with a physician. I'm a physician assistant.
Got it.
My position is here. not
All that doesn't matter yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing is acting on side effects